Collective spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get what you prayed for, but don't confuse silence with absence. Spirit saw what you couldn't and rerouted you before the wreckage. The Tower. This was divine interception. That foundation was already cracked. Spirit let it fall so you wouldn't, because if that door opened, you would have walked into destruction thinking it was destiny. Two of Swords. You weren't ready to see the truth, but Spirit wasn't about to let you sit at a table where betrayal was already being served. That indecision was protection because clarity would have crushed you too soon. Hierophant reversed. You thought it was sacred, but it was a lesson masquerading as tradition. Spirit broke the contract so you wouldn't sell your soul to keep a promise they never intended to honor. Spirit says that no, that ending, that redirection was the real blessing. You were being protected because what you thought you wanted would have destroyed the healed version of you. You're becoming comment. Protection over perfection if this message is for you. Aries, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken. You didn't get what you prayed for, but your fire was never meant to burn in that direction. Spirit saw where it would lead and cut it off before you got scorched. The Tower, this was your wake-up call. That passion had no peace. Spirit let it collapse so you wouldn't combust because the more you fought for it, the more it drained your power. Two of Swords, you stayed in confusion, but it wasn't weakness. It was survival. That inner tug of war, it was Spirit shielding you from your own ambition so you wouldn't fight for something that was fake. Hierophant, it reversed. You were loyal to a lie, trying to make chaos feel like commitment. Spirit snatched the illusion so you could reclaim your truth. Spirit says you didn't fail. You were spared because what you were chasing would have shattered the very self you've been rebuilding. Comment, protection over perfection if this message is for you. Taurus, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken. You didn't get what you held on to, but it wasn't yours to keep. Spirit saw the cracks behind the comfort and removed it before it robbed your peace. The Tower. This was a forced release because you wouldn't let go, but Spirit saw what you refused to admit and made sure you didn't anchor your worth in something that wasn't real. Two of Swords. You called it stability, but it was stuckness. Spirit kept you from choosing out of fear because choosing wrong would have cost you more than you knew. Hierophant reversed. They played on your loyalty and you almost let it slide. Spirit had to break the pattern before you sacrificed your soul just to stay safe, Spirit says. That silence, that closed chapter, that sudden stop was divine mercy because holding on would have hurt more than letting go. Comment, protection over perfection if this message is for you. Gemini, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the answer, but the silence was the sign. Spirit intercepted the conversation to save you from words meant to deceive. The Tower. This wasn't miscommunication, it was revelation. Spirit didn't let it go your way because the truth behind it would have shattered your faith in everything. Two of Swords, you played both sides, trying to understand what didn't make sense. Spirit delayed your decision because clarity without compassion would have cut too deep. Hierophant reversed. You were trying to believe, but their energy contradicted their words. Spirit showed you. You don't have to follow rules that keep you in the confusion. Spirit says, you're not being punished. You're being protected because what looked like connection would have left you emotionally bankrupt. Comment, protection over perfection if this message is for you. Cancer, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken. You didn't get the love you gave, but it wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Spirit saw the betrayal before it reached your heart and closed the door before you could walk through it. The Tower, you were building on hope, but they were stacking lies. Spirit let it fall before you got attached because if you stayed, you would have lost yourself loving them. Two of Swords. You called it loyalty, but it was emotional survival. Spirit clouded your judgment so you wouldn't pour into what was draining you. Hierophant reversed. You thought it was sacred, but it was manipulation, wearing a mask. Spirit severed the tie so you could stop mistaking pain for purpose. Spirit says you weren't abandoned. You were protected because that connection would have crushed your capacity to love again. Comment protection over perfection. If this message is for you, Leo, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the spotlight, but that stage would have dimmed your light. Spirit saw what was happening behind the curtain and cut the performance before you got played. The Tower. This wasn't sabotage. It was salvation. Spirit let the mask fall so you wouldn't lose yourself in applause. That wasn't real. Two of Swords. You weren't blind, you were loyal, but spirit put you on pause because choosing ego over truth would have cost you your crown. Hierophant reversed. You thought it was your next chapter, but spirit ripped up the script because it was never written with your soul in mind. Spirit says that rejection, that ending, that silence, it was sacred because staying in that story would have stolen your fire. Comment protection over perfection. If this message is for you, Virgo, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get what you worked for, but it wasn't about effort. Spirit saw the outcome and you weren't meant to fix it. The Tower, you tried to build it better, but it wasn't your job to save what was broken. The spirit tore it down so you could stop over giving to people who never deserved your precision. Two of Swords, you analyzed it to death, looking for the answer. But spirit clouded your path because no clarity was safer than walking into betrayal with open eyes. Hierophant reversed. You followed the rules, but they were playing a whole different game. Spirit bent the structure so you could break free from perfectionism disguised as purpose. Spirit says you're not late, you're not lost, you're being spared because healing can't happen in the same place you were hurt. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Libra, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the harmony, but spirit knew it wasn't real peace. They were smiling with secrets and you were compromising with chaos. The Tower. This wasn't a loss, it was alignment. Spirit shattered the illusion so you wouldn't keep balancing what was built to break that pretty picture. It hid a truth too heavy to hold. Two of Swords. You froze in fairness, but spirit interrupted your indecision because trying to keep the peace would have left you in pieces. Hierophant reversed. You followed the agreement, but they were rewriting the rules. Spirit broke the bond so you could stop negotiating your worth. Spirit says you weren't abandoned, you were aligned because staying would have required you to betray yourself. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Scorpio, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the closure, but spirit saw what it was really covering. You were about to go all in on someone who wasn't even playing fair. The Tower, you were ready for the rebirth, but spirit said first the purge. They took it away before it could devour you because that love wasn't intimacy. It was control wearing passion's face. Two of Swords. You went quiet, but spirit wasn't. That confusion was divine protection so you wouldn't resurrect something that needed to stay buried. Hierophant reversed. You were loyal to a cycle, calling it fate. Spirit broke the pattern so you could stop calling pain your soulmate. Spirit says this ending, this void, this silence is sacred because it's the space where your power returns. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Sagittarius, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the green light, but spirit knew that path would have led to a dead end. They rerouted you before your optimism became your undoing. The Tower, you saw adventure, they saw opportunity, but spirit saw manipulation and ended it before your freedom got caged. Two of Swords, you tried to stay open, but spirit closed the door because chasing clarity and chaos would have drained your light and left you doubting your own fire. Hierophant reversed. You thought it was expansion, but it was restrictions wrapped in tradition. Spirit broke the mold so you wouldn't shrink yourself for their approval. Spirit says this redirection is not rejection, it's liberation because what you were asking for would have dimmed the wild in you. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Capricorn, spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the results, but it wasn't a failure. It was foresight. Spirit saw the cracks in the foundation and kept you from investing in a sinking structure. The Tower, you would have built it all just to carry it alone. Spirit broke it early so you wouldn't sacrifice your sanity for someone else's comfort. Two of Swords. You calculated every outcome, but Spirit blocked the blueprint because some things can't be solved. They must be surrendered. Hierophant reversed. You followed the structure, but they moved the goalposts. Spirit dismantled the system, so you stopped trying to earn love with your labor. Spirit says this interruption was an intervention because striving for something unstable would have broken the strongest parts of you. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Aquarius, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken. You didn't get the alignment, but Spirit knew it wasn't authentic. You were bending your truth to fit in with someone who didn't see your vision. The tower you were about to build with someone who couldn't handle your depth. Spirit tore it down so you wouldn't betray your evolution for temporary connection. Two of Swords. You detached to protect your peace, but Spirit deepened the silence because they weren't ready, and forcing it would have cost you your clarity. Hierophant reversed. You questioned the norms, but they tried to trap you in tradition. Spirit dismantled it so you could stay rooted in your truth. Spirit says that misalignment, that pause, that silence was divine preservation because that path would have diluted your purpose. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you. Pisces, Spirit blocked it because it would have broken you. You didn't get the fairy tale, but Spirit knew the ending wasn't happy. You were dreaming of a love that would have drained your soul. The Tower. This wasn't a heartbreak, it was a revelation. Spirit removed the illusion before you gave your heart to someone who never intended to hold it. Two of Swords. You ignored the red flags because your heart wanted to believe, but Spirit clouded your view so your spirit wouldn't suffer. Hierophant reversed. You called it destiny, but it was a detour. Spirit broke the spell so you wouldn't tie your worth to someone who couldn't love you, right? Spirit says this wasn't punishment, it was preservation because what felt magical would have turned into mourning. Comment protection over perfection if this message is for you.